What's up, guys? We're Dudes with a Podcast, and this is our podcast. I'm Austin, aka Sizzle.
I'm Jorm, aka the Mafia Fish,
Well,
and
Jorm,
this will be our first episode of our podcast.
that's right. This is our first episode of this podcast. As you can tell, we are two dudes with a podcast, and this is our podcast. I know, it's almost like the Twilight Zone. So, Jorm, how about you tell everybody about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, since you guys more than likely don't know who I am, I'll go first. I've known Austin for a long time. As I said before, my name's Joram. About the same age as Austin, a little younger. Still live in Middle Tennessee along with him. I'm attending the same college as he is, one of the bigger ones in Middle Tennessee. And then we'll probably get to a little bit more of the personal stuff, get to know you guys a little bit later.
That's right. Just a little bit later, not right now, because you see, personal stuff. But yeah.
That's the worst.
I know. As Jorm said, we have known each other for a long time. We met through a mutual friend, actually. I grew up with this mutual friend of ours since kindergarten, actually. And then we all got Xbox Live, and that's how I was introduced to Jorm. And then we was introduced, I believe, in the 7th grade. And then we actually met each other in 8th grade at that mutual friend's birthday party at a bowling alley. And that's how that goes. But
what a great day.
It was a terrible day. You remember like I got up and the very first bowl we was making jokes about bowling it through our legs, and I bowled it backwards through my legs on the very first one. I got a strike and we all like freaked out about that, dude. You remember that?
No,
You don't
I
remember?
don't.
I remember that, dude. Like it was
Did that really happen?
Yes. I thought you would remember it. That was
No, that's hilarious.
That was also the first day that we met I met our mutual friend, which was, I guess this one was introduced to me by you and Justin, was Travis. That was the first day I met Travis too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, that's a little bit of background about us, of course, over this podcast. More and more time, of course, we're going to get more and more personal. And if y'all don't already know about I guess if y'all don't know much about us already, you're going to find out sooner or later. A lot of people know that I'm Sizzle Sism on Twitch. A lot of people just call me Sizzle. If y'all want to check out my Twitch, I'll drop the link down in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it from there. But let's go into why we really wanted to do this podcast. I'll start this one off. The reason why I personally wanted to start a podcast is because I was really inspired by podcasts. One in particular was the Crew podcast that Deluxe 4 started with Shadow Beats, and I was really inspired by that, and I was really I was watching them, and I was taking in all their information and just watching how they do it, and how just simple it was to...
How long have they been doing that one?
Oh, God, dude. The Crew podcast's been going on for years, man. I mean, a long time. I couldn't even tell you, because I've been watching The Crew since 2010. Like, I've been watching them for almost 9 years now.
Yeah, we've been watching them for a while.
But, that, and then another podcast that I highly recommend y'all to check out. I recommend y'all to check out the Crewcast. They're not really done as much anymore, but I highly recommend y'all go back and watch them. But another podcast I highly recommend is called The Road to Now, and that one is actually my history professor, and I know it sounds terrible, but in all honesty, it's not that bad. My history professor is a stand-up comedian as well, and he's pretty funny, I will say. But it's really interesting stuff if you're into history and stuff like that. But basically, the overall reason is because I just love podcasts. I love sitting there, and I love listening to all the information. I love hearing what people's thoughts are on certain subjects, stuff like that. And I thought, who better to do it with than my good friend Jorm. And so I just was like, you know what? I'll just take the bottom of the barrel and start a podcast.
Yeah, like you said, it was definitely Austin's idea to start it off. But out of any podcast that I watch in my spare time, I don't really watch any that are gonna be kind of like this. almost, I don't want to say aimless, but not very focused content wise. I watch a lot of podcasts that, or I guess listen to, that I guess apply to a lot of my hobbies. So, League of Legends, Magic, podcasts I listen to a lot, but
Right. Like I
all
know
the ones that have.
H3H3 is one that me and you both watch.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, they're a little bit more focused on news and media.
Right, right.
But yeah, that I love their podcast and their setup.
Yeah, and congrats to them also, which I don't think they'll ever see this, but if they ever happen to, congratulations on them for the baby, and hope
Oh
all
yeah, it
goes
was
well there.
pregnancy.
Yes, yes, she is pregnant. Uh, and I forgot to mention another podcast that I'm really inspired by that I really want y'all to check out too. This one's called The Official Podcast. That one was started by
The
a guy.
official podcast.
Yeah, do you know who I'm talking about? The guy that we used to watch, Penguin Z0 on YouTube. That's his podcast.
Oh yeah, Criticals.
Yes,
Yeah,
Criticals.
yeah.
Yeah, that's his podcast, and I was really inspired by it because those dude are hilarious. Because those have no filter. They just talk about whatever, and I love it, man. I just love those.
Yeah, I've watched. I think I've listened to it a couple times. Um, but that was a while ago, so I haven't kept up with them.
I've kept up with a lot of them. I think one of the last ones that I watched, and that was before college went back in, was the one with Boogie, just like H3H3, the one with
Mhm.
Boogie,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that was one of the last ones that I watched. But with that being said, on both of our sides, Jordan, where do you think what do you want to do with this podcast as we go on into the future?
I really plan to. I really want to start up a new community because I've never really been part of any online forum before this or anything. Ever been super active in one. So I really want to try to foster a community that we can really just talk back and forth with about anything and everything. Um, Other than that, it's just really fun to start up a random podcast with one of my best friends.
Exactly. That's what I was looking at. Was just starting up a podcast with one of my best friends. I thought that would be so fun. But where we plan to go, honestly, it's wherever this podcast goes. If y'all enjoy it and y'all want more of it, we'll make more of it. If y'all get sick of us and say, "Look, y'all all suck. Get off the internet," we'll stay on the internet. We just won't make podcasts. I mean, it's that simple. But yeah, that's where we plan to go with it, man. I mean, it's just, but it's also a good lead into our topic. Is the schedule. We plan to do this if we can do it. If not every Friday, at least one day of the weekend. We're going to try to do it once a week. But the reason why once a week right now is our main thing is we both are in college.
hmm
And
Like Austin said, we plan to at least record on Friday. So whether or not these videos will actually go up on Friday, it's up to debate. You're gonna have to stick with us, bear with us here,
that's right.
because like Austin was saying, we're both in college, uh, pretty in full swing now, in the middle of the fall semester.
Yeah.
We're both in our sophomore years.
Just had midterm week. We just got out of it.
Yeah, though not actually quite done with mine yet for some goofy reason. My professors have decided it'd be better to do it after midterm week, but that's beside the point.
That's right.
I can complain about that somewhere else.
Um, my major in college is film and video, actually, and I shouldn't say my midterms are done because I got to film another video and upload it on my YouTube channel as a project, and but I'm in film and video for some reason. I just really enjoy the camera. I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed being in front of it and doing just as stupid of things as I can in front of it. And sorry guys, I got choked. But I just enjoy doing what I just like. It's one of those things where the reason why I chose this major is like when, say, I have a image in my head of like a certain movie scene that I want it to play out in a certain way. I can like see it through a movie screen in my head and like the angles and stuff like that. And so I guess that's why I did it in the first place. But it's funny because I'm a film and video major, but I work at a radio station. And who who knows, dude? My life, I don't know, man. I'm confused right now.
So at the moment, I'm an English major, but question for you, Austin.
Okay.
So I know with English majors, right, there's like concentrations you can go into. Is it the same thing for film and video? Do you have like a concentrated area that you're specifying in, or is it just kind of generalized right now?
Right now, I guess you would say I'd be going into the filmmaking process. I believe the way our college has it set up is there's that specific major, but it, for example, there's a girl in my major class. She said that the only reason why she did that major is she chose that major is because they said this is the only one that she can get close enough to because she wanted to be on movie sets, but she wanted to do lighting, but they didn't have a lighting specific major. So she's having to
Gotcha.
do video and film because that's how you get on the set. But then she has to learn how to do the lighting from the people who are on set if they allow
From
her
just
to.
like job experience.
Exactly, if they allow her to. She doesn't even know if they'll allow her to. But yeah, overall, right now, yeah, it's just general. I guess it's just general.
Gotcha.
We don't have the specifics. No.
So it's more of like you go in, you get the degree, and then you go out and really find what you're interested in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, like I said, I'm an English major. At the moment, I'm going for editing. The idea of being somewhere at some literature agency editing people's work sounds really fun. So, my major is kind of the opposite of Austin's in that we have a concentration while in school uh, that really kind of decides, or at least guides us down the path we want to take.
Right. I mean, right now, just college is weird right now because there was that point freshman year that I know me and you both we discussed it actually that there was a point where me and you were both almost at the wits end of college. We both wanted out of it, you know. It was just getting so heavy at the time.
It's it's definitely an experience.
Yeah.
So as as some of you might know in the audience, we went to not the best high school. To the point where I would definitely say I was maybe 5% prepared for the college experience that I should have been.
I wouldn't even give us that high
So
of a rating, dude.
yeah,
That's pretty much
even
over.
that's up to debate.
Yeah.
So I definitely think I wasn't really aware of how hard college was going to hit.
Hmm.
But I think now that we're kind of in the swing of things and in the thick of it, it's definitely not as bad. It's, don't get me wrong, it's still definitely hard, but I don't think it's as killer as it once was,
No,
you know?
I think it was just that freshman year we weren't used to getting pushed that hard, and then once we got into it and we were getting pushed so hard compared to what we had at our high school to do work and stuff like that, it was just something that me and you just were not used to at all. But now it really isn't that bad. It really ain't. It's not even, and it's
Hmm.
not even the work is harder. The work is not harder at all. It's just
What?
really just the workload, I guess. Like, you don't really
That's
learn.
also true.
Yeah, you don't. Like, I'm not saying, like, I've consumed so much new information I don't know what to do with. No. I've consumed little by little information, just a lot of work, a lot of busy work in a sense to just make sure you understand it. Um, but either,
Also adjusting to like that new like schedule where
yeah.
you really choose what times you go and there's all sorts of different buildings and you have to run around campus all the time. It's definitely a shock.
But it's helpful, too. It's very helpful if you have a job like me.
Yeah,
I enjoy
yeah,
it.
that's also true.
But either way, with our busy schedules, we still maintain our interest in our hobbies while we're in college. We do. It's not
Yeah,
as
in whatever time we can find.
Yeah, it's not as often as we want it to be because it is just like they tell you basically at college, at the well, I don't know, the introduction ceremony, whatever you call that.
Oh yes, the most useful thing you'll ever do in college.
The
They
most
swear.
they swear it's so useful, but it is actually the most useless thing that you do. Our me and Jorms was the same deal. They made you get up at like 6 in the morning and get there, and it was a all day thing where you just walked around, and that's it. You just walked, nothing. It's the most.
What made it even worse was that it was in like the dead of summer.
Oh yeah,
So
dude.
you get there at like 6:30. You don't end until like 6:30 at night,
Hmm.
and it's just blistering hot.
And you just were
It's
walking across campus, and they were just like, all right, this is a building. Let's tell you a story about how someone kissed on these front steps and got married. Like, that was literally one of the stories. And it was like, this is why I'm paying thousands of dollars. This is it. This is the
oh
quality.
yeah.
Yeah. But either way, that pushed aside. We do have our hobbies. We do have our interests. Like, even though we're in college, me and Jorm, we still both like to game. Personally, I've always enjoyed FPS. I've always enjoyed FPS. Um, which I really wasn't into like role playing stuff or anything like that until Jorm and our mutual friend Justin broke me down and sat me down and introduced me to the Dark Souls series. That is when I think
Yeah, so
that's when my life ended,
go
dude,
ahead.
because I was just addicted to Dark Souls after that. Like, I was just so addicted to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
Dark Souls could do that.
yeah, most
But
definitely.
like Austin was saying, uh, our game interests lie pretty close, I would say.
Oh yeah.
We kind of met, like Austin was saying earlier, over Xbox Live and playing, Black Ops 2,
Hmm.
the ungodly amount of Black Ops 2. Um,
What was it? What was our stats? What last time we checked? I think you clocked in. You were at like what was? You were at 30 something days, and I was like 2 days
yeah,
behind
I
you.
think it's like 32 days or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I think I just hit like 30 days. We're both max prestige. Like, and when we say this, we're not lying. Like, there was a point in time where me and Jorm lived, eat, and breathed Black Ops 2. I mean, that was it.
Yeah, for some people it's not as much, but it helps to put in perspective that almost all of those hours were put in like a span of 2 months or so
Mm-hmm.
over just a summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like Austin was saying, it was wake up in the morning, start playing, eat some food, go to bed, wake up the next day, keep playing.
We did it like literally. We woke up morning and played tonight. It was just that's how we did it. And I mean, there's definitely way better than us out there. But I will say there was a point where, uh,
Most definitely.
me and Jordan we were pretty good at that game. We were pretty amazing at Black Ops 2. And then, uh, we had a squad. We did have a squad with us. It wasn't just me and Jorm. Now me
Hmm.
and Jorm, this was actually after the squad sort of fell off. Me and Jorm would play privately, just me and him a lot, and we like to mess around a lot, and we would like do the combat knife only runs and somehow win the games, just stuff like that. And then we got to the point where me and Jorm went for the all diamond run in Black Ops 2, and lo and behold, the game is so hacked now. We joined a lobby with a hacker, and now you can't get rid of it. He gave us all diamond weapons, every single one in the game, and so he saved us time, I reckon. So
Yeah, I haven't been on that game in a very long time.
yeah,
But even just a year ago, the extent at which it was getting hacked, I would love to see what it's like nowadays.
it's just Minecraft characters probably, because that's what it
Is it
was.
really?
That's what it was whenever we were on there. It was like those little block things just running around, and
I remember like one or two of those, but
yeah,
I kind of stopped playing by the time
yeah.
those were popping up.
there was that point where me and you, all we did was steal emblems. That's all we wanted to do. If we saw an emblem, we were gonna have it. I mean, we were gonna have it. But I mean, Jorm was way better with the quick scoping than I was. Jorm was really good at quick scoping, but
I feel like there was like there's 2 months there where I was passable, but then I stopped doing it and it quickly falls
it
apart.
quickly
I was
faded.
nowhere near the level of any of like I guess the bigger YouTubers or
Oh
the pro
yeah,
players. Nowhere even close to that, but
but there
I feel like I
was
was I was passable.
yeah, but there was that stage where me and you went through. Both of us did it. We both ran a scorpion with rapid fire, and if you remember the scorpion, it already shot so fast it was ridiculous. But we put rapid fire on it, and me and Jordan would just hop in lobbies and just mow down the line. Um, I believe it was me and Jorm though, and we can swear to you on this. We need to look up the times actually. Me and Jorm, we swear we broke the world record for fastest round of demolition in Black Ops 2 there ever was. Do you remember
I'm sure
that?
we got close.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it was on Nuketown. It was on Nuketown, and somehow we planted
I
A
think
and B
so.
so fast it was ridiculous. It's just fun times, man. Just
Yeah,
fun
those days were
times.
really fun.
Those were
But
fun
other than
times.
that, like Austin was saying, I'm pretty big into role-playing games.
Right.
I've been playing RPGs since I was really young. Started off with Pokemon, like I would assume most do, and have continued from there. FPS is super fun. Platformers will always hold a place in my heart. Any fighting game I'm usually down to play. So I think between the two of us, we cover most everything.
Hmm. And that's the thing. Jorms introduced me to games like League of Legends. I would have never played it unless he introduced me to it, and he got me into that. And then the Dark Souls series, he got me into that. And there's many games there's many games that we've all got into, um, just by our friends. Like I remember you introduced me to Battle Block Theater. I don't even know what that
What a
falls
great
under,
game.
but it's an incredible game. Um,
That's a good platformer.
yeah, yeah, I reckon that would fall under. And I mean, yeah, but speaking of the Dark Souls series, they got a new one coming out. Not a Dark Souls, but a new trilogy. The first one is called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. They've released
Is this
gameplay.
one supposed to be a trilogy?
I believe I read that, but don't quote me on it. So y'all don't quote me on that, but I believe I read that. Um, but they have released some gameplay of it. IGN did,
Hmm.
and it looks good. But there's the part that I hate about it is the grappling hook that can take you everywhere.
Really?
I really hate that. I
Hmm.
enjoy the Dark Souls series where you have to run every single inch and fight every single enemy. I enjoy that. I don't know if I'm gonna like the grappling hook everywhere.
So from what I've heard and what I've seen from watching guys on YouTube like Vati, um, it looks like enemies will have ways around that. In that it's not so in Dark Souls, you know how most of the enemies are grounded, etc. In Sekiro, it looks like they have ways of kind of dealing with you if you're trying to just cheese it or whatever. So I don't think it'll be like the get out of jail free card, I guess,
Okay.
that it would be in something like Dark Souls.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That is good to know. But overall, the graphics look beautiful. I mean, they look
Oh yeah,
absolutely
the game looks
stunning.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. Stunning. Goodness gracious. I was trying to say astonishing and stunning in the same thing, so I just said
Oh, okay.
stunish. Stunish. That's what those are. And other
Yeah, I'm
gaming.
really excited for that release.
Oh, I am too.
Go on.
I am too. And speaking of release in gaming news, Black Ops 4 came out today.
That is one I was not as excited for, though
I
I've heard it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've been watching streams today of it.
Hmm.
I personally wasn't excited for it either because whenever they showed the gameplay, it and they basically even said it was Black Ops 3 just upgraded. That turned me off so quick, man. So quick. Cause I was like, man, I want a new game. I don't want the same game and me paying. Well, especially when like, what is it that Treyarch and all them did? Like, in order to get all the DLC, you have to buy the $120 version instead of the $60 version. Like, I'm not paying
Yeah.
$120 for extra DLC. But don't get me wrong. I've been watching Blackout gameplay. It looks cool. It really does. It looks pretty cool. But the only reason if I ever do wind up buying Black Ops 4, the only reason I see myself buying it for is for the zombies. Now, the zombies, I've been watching gameplay on that, and the zombies looks incredible.
I feel like that's always been one of the major drawing points of Black Ops, though, you know?
Oh, man. They,
Like, no matter how bad the multiplayer would be, the zombies has got to be good.
oh, yeah, they got that, Titanic map now, and the Titanic map looks incredible. Looks absolutely insane. And I would I mean, that would be the only reason why I want Black Ops 4, so I could sit there and I could play through
Just for the Titanic
just for the
map?
Titanic map. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they got that
It's
other one.
understandable.
They got that other one that's like medieval flashback or whatever, and then they got the one that was remastered, uh, Blood of the Dead, which it's a remaster of Mob of the Dead that we spent countless hours on. Um,
Yeah.
but overall, I wouldn't mind trying out the Blackout. I really wouldn't. Um, just because I dedicated so much time to Fortnite as well. But Fortnite, I feel, I mean, Fortnite is still going strong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, something's gonna come in and kill it one day, hopefully, maybe. But
So a little bit of background for our, I guess, unenthusiasm, unenthusiasticness for Black Ops 4 is that after after Black Ops 2, which was our favorite FPS probably ever, at least in my opinion,
mm-hmm,
um, we immediately got hit with Ghosts, which was not the best, if any of you all remember that. And then immediately after that, we got Advanced Warfare, which also, in my opinion, I don't know, I can't speak for Austin, but I absolutely hate it. I hated the exosuits. I hated the gameplay. I just despised it. So ever since then, especially for me, my interest in COD has tanked. But it always kind of there's a little bit of resurgence every time a new Black Ops gets announced. And since I heard that Black Ops 4 kind of did away with a whole lot of the wall climbing and all that jazz, uh, it's caught my eye.
it has caught my eye. A lot of my friends that actually played the beta, they said they love the new healing system where you have to press LB or R1 or R2, whatever, on the PS4 controller. Whenever you have to manually heal, they said they love that aspect of it.
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, you don't heal naturally in Black Ops 4. You have to manually heal now.
So how does that work? Do you have like a limited supply or something?
Um, Now that I couldn't tell you. All I know is like you get shot at, and you know how like your screen usually blinks red, like if you're in a pretty big fight or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you're like ducking behind a corner or something like that, you press LB. Your guy injects like some health in you, like after like a second or two, and then your health starts going back up.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's manual, which is different, but um,
Mhm.
that like you said, I can't agree with you. Ghost, honestly, I don't know why that game got so much hate. I really don't. But I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I said no. I thought that game was incredible because I did. I crapped on it as much as the other guy. But when looking back on it, it really was not that bad of a game. It really wasn't. I don't know if it was just from us going from so far in the future of Black Ops 2 going back to modern day, we just didn't like it or what. But
I think it was mainly like how high Black Ops 2 got, and then Ghost really didn't live up to that, I think.
that
And so
yeah,
the disappointment
exactly.
was so strong.
Yeah. And then like you said, Advanced Warfare, it was something new, but the exosuits did get annoying. I will say this. I enjoyed Advanced Warfare when they added the boots on the ground game mode. They added boots on the ground playlist, which was specifically team deathmatch, search, and all that with boots on the grounds. And I will say I did enjoy Advanced Warfare playing that specific playlist. Then Black Ops 3 came
Yeah,
out.
by that time I was already out.
Yeah,
So.
Black Ops 3 came out. I got it basically for the zombies. I hated the exosuits. And then Infinity War, didn't even try to get it. I didn't want it. I didn't buy it. And then Black Ops... Whoa, there was one more. World War II. I did get World War II.
Yeah, that's right.
I did enjoy World War II. I did. I will say it was something new. It was innovative, and I loved it. I thought that was great. And now we're at Black Ops 4, which is back on boots on the ground. Who knows? It was just released today or yesterday. Who knows? I may break down here in a month or two, but as of right now, I don't see it in the near future for me. Possibly, but not right now.
I would agree.
I mean, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I know I can, but I mean, I could talk myself into it because, I mean, it's a COD. Because I had every single COD that came out since COD 3. COD 3 was my very first one, and then I got every single one after that. And I'm telling you right now, Black Ops 2, definitely the one I dedicated most time to.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably my number one favorite because I did dedicate so much time to it. But I will say, Black Ops 1, man. I mean, that game, I spent a lot of hours on Black Ops 1, too. I got my Galil with the suppressor on it. Went off, man.
Yeah, my first COD was MW3. I had played Black Ops 1 Zombies with an older friend of mine way back in the day, but I hadn't played anything before MW3. And even that one, I didn't play for long until our friend group got onto Black Ops 2 when it got released.
That's when we met. Justin introduced us on Modern Warfare 3.
Yep.
That's how we met. We met
Long
on MW3. That was a
time
long
ago.
time ago. Very long time ago. And then, yeah. Boy, that was... Man, just looking back on that, like, thinking, like, that's what I did. Every single day I came home from school, man, it was hopping on the Xbox, man, and just playing. I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it.
A lot of times I could do it.
Yeah, unless I had something to do. Like, of course, I had to go outside and I had to feed the donkeys and whatnot. But I'd always come in and then just play, man. Just play like a madman.
Feeding
Do what?
Feeding the donkeys.
Yeah.
Austin, have you ever owned donkeys?
Yes. You know, you been to that.
Did you really?
Wait, never mind. You never been to that house.
What?
I'm sorry. You ain't never been to my dad's. I apologize. You only been to my mama's.
I have to go see these donkeys, especially if they've been around this long.
I'm really surprised we've known each other for this long, and you have never seen them.
I've never met your donkeys.
Dude, you ain't met my donkeys. You ain't met my chickens. You ain't met none of them. And
I guess not.
Honestly, it just seems like every single time that we've hung out, to put this in perspective, Dad has everything farm-wise. Mom don't. So, Mom got custody after the divorce, and then once I was 18, I said skadoodle, and I went back up to Dad's. I'm surprised.
I don't think so. I've only ever been to your mom's house.
Yeah. You actually, yeah. My dad, like I said, my grandparents that stay with them and everything, they live up there on top of the hill, and you've never been up there before.
Nope.
Oh, my God. We've known each other all these years. I'm sure you known that I've had my donkeys for years, though, because I used to talk.
This is
I've always talked about them.
time. This is the first time I've ever heard about this. But I'm
Justin,
so glad this wonderful
Jake,
moment has been captured in this recording.
Justin, Jake, all of our friends knew. How did you not know?
I've never heard of this.
Where have you been? They
I,
would.
I don't know.
I don't. They would even tell you stupid stories about me running, jumping the barbed wire gate, and just hopping on a donkey to see if I could ride it.
Man,
What?
yeah, I don't know what to say.
Oh my God. Well,
But anyway, to bring it back down to the
no, we
podcast.
gotta address this. Like, how is it that all the times that we hung out, it's been at my mom's, and we've just never discussed this.
I don't know, dude.
I'm so lost for words right now. It's okay. All right. It's all right. Even my Discord knows about it, dude. I send personal videos out in my Discord of me out there just doing whatever up there on the farmland.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. This is blowing my mind as much as it is yours.
I'm gonna have to go find me some of them videos, and I'm gonna have to send them to you.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is, because I swear to God, everybody knew that. I would think one of my best friends knew it. You remember that video that we filmed, #1? That NASCAR video.
Yeah.
Yes, in that video, when we was out there in that field where the barn was, and I was petting all them donkeys, those are mine.
Oh, really? I guess I never made that. I guess I just didn't make the connection that you would have to have owned that land to actually film on it. I just never, that never clicked in my head that that might be yours.
You thought I just went on
Now
some
I'm gonna.
stranger's property, just
Well, no,
opened up
I
their
thought
gate
you.
and was like, hey, I'm just going to steal these donkeys for a while. No, dude.
No, I thought you like knew somebody and asked if you could.
No.
I didn't, because I'd never been to your dad's house, so I didn't know what it looked like.
Literally, there is. I'm getting choked on water, dude. I'm laughing. There has been video evidence of them, and you didn't make that connection. Jorm.
I
Well,
guess not. I'm gonna have to go rewatch it now.
yeah, you're going to have to. You're going to have to. I'll even send you the link. Move on, man. Move on to the next topic. We got to talk about Red Dead 2. Speaking of donkeys.
Well,
Speaking of donkeys, Red Dead
yeah,
2 got
speaking of
donkeys.
donkeys, well, it probably does have donkeys, but more importantly, it has horses.
And the horses' balls get bigger and smaller.
And horses' balls that are perfectly animated.
That's like, you have the innovative technology if you can seriously, I mean absolutely seriously, like make a game where a horse's ball sack goes bigger and smaller.
So I know this topic has been beaten to death across the internet, so we don't necessarily have to spend too much time on these horses' balls, but I would really love to know how much specifically it cost to animate that and really code that. I would assume not as much as we're really expecting, but I would love to get some numbers. I want to know.
I would
I
say,
also want to know. Go ahead.
yeah, well no, I would say the numbers are high, honestly. That's what I was going to say.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I
by
would
the way,
also love to be in the board meeting where some guy pitches that idea.
yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh, and I just want to say, I just sent you something on Skype, and I want you to fast forward that link to 1 minute 29 seconds, and then after that, sir,
One minute, 20 seconds.
I'll leave the topic alone. I won't bring it up to you no more. I can't believe you though. You blowing my mind right now with that whole donkey deal, bro. You blowing it.
Man, there's even multiple donkeys and everything. We'll have to put this. We'll put the video in
We'll put
the Skype chat
we'll put
or the Skype chat,
yeah. We'll put it in the
the
description.
description.
That's my house, dude. That's my that's my house. And you have
Beautiful.
never put 2 and 2 together.
Nope.
You are blowing my mind right now.
Oh, I'll tell you why. I know why. Because you never brought your Xbox up to your dad's house. That's why.
That is
Back
true.
in the day, you never brought it.
That is true. I always left it because I never wanted to haul it around. That is absolutely true. So that makes a lot more sense now why you never knew.
I think that's why.
Well, there is video evidence of my house. Now, of course, for the time being, people, of course, anybody who has divorced parents knows that you can't really fight the system. The system fights the child and pretty much is like, screw you, you're doing this or doing that. So I went with Mom. But either way, with the donkeys and stuff like that, I'm really excited for Red Dead 2. I loved Red Dead 1. Absolutely loved that game.
So I'm gonna have a hot take here, and people can eviscerate me in the comments if they want. I really didn't enjoy Red Dead 1.
Really?
I'll be honest.
People
I
are
really
gonna,
didn't enjoy it.
People are gonna, yeah, they're gonna destroy you probably for that one.
Which is fine. I've accepted that. You and Justin have read for this multiple times over the years. So, but I always felt like it was super slow paced, and it could never really hold my attention, I guess. It always felt like the game was super slow and the controls were kind of floaty, I guess. The actual traveling with the horse always made me want to claw my eyes out. So maybe that'll change with Red Dead 2. Because I definitely do want to try it. But I don't hold the first one in high regard. I don't.
Okay. I completely see your point though. I do see it. If compared to GTA 5, yeah, it's definitely a different. It's not.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different. But I mean, I'm not gonna
Definitely
say it's
compared to Rockstar's other games.
Of course. So I can see that completely. But I like how the one innovative technology that they added to this is the MCPs, or what are those called? The characters, whatever.
What are you talking about? NPCs?
NPCs, yeah, not MCPs.
There you go.
I don't know what in the world I was talking about.
Yeah. Don't know what that is, but that's something else.
That's right. But the NPCs, they actually have a memory. And so, say you walk into a bar and you get in a fight and a ruckus and you make them mad, they actually have a memory. So next time you come in there, if they don't like you, they could either kick you out of that bar instantly or call the sheriff to come over there to take you out of that bar. And I love how they did that.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like dynamic, where
Yes.
instead of, I guess, you impact not just like the missions that you take on, but the whole world. Is that what they're trying to do?
Yes.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to see like how deep they take that. Yeah, that seems like it'd be a lot of fun because you could really immerse yourself in the game with that, you know?
Oh yeah, and one thing, um, one thing that I also like compared to GTA 5 is that all the buildings are pretty much able to be walked into. Unlike GTA 5, where you only have like clothing stores and gas stations, all the buildings are able to be walked into and interacted with, and I really love that. I love that to death. Like, that's amazing to me, and I'm really
That's pretty
excited for
cool.
this game. I'm so excited for this game. So excited.
Especially if the map is huge.
The map is, I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews on it. I heard it's big. I heard it's small. I
Oh,
don't
really?
know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see though. So we discussed something very small right before we started recording this podcast. So you got it pulled up. Tell me what's in your recently played on your Spotify, man. Let's talk a little bit about our musical interest right here. Let's get into this.
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, we really wanted this first podcast to be an introduction to both Austin and I, and we figured the best way to do that is through our hobbies and what we're really interested in. So along through this podcast, we probably will talk through about our biggest, which are music and video games. Now that we've done video games, going on to music, my music tastes are fairly varied. I don't want to say I listen to like a huge range of things or anything, but um, I, so growing up was really parents are super into rock and metal, so I was surrounded by you know 3 Days Grace, the whole emo wave way back in the day. Let's see, Rammstein, got class 80s. There's a whole lot of 80s metal growing up in my house. A whole lot of one-hit wonders from the 80s and 90s. So, but around seventh, eighth grade, I guess, sometime around there, I started to broaden my music horizons. I started listening, picked up hip hop, which is something I had never listened to before that. Picked up a lot of EDM and instrumental, like it's not instrumental, but techno music, especially when dubstep really hit its height. I was super into it. Couldn't tell you the last time I listened to Skrillex, but that's beside the point. Uh, Along with rap, opened my eyes to a bit more of the pop scene. Not quite generic top 100 whatever, but just exploring more like radio hits. Deepened view of metal past like the industrial and punk of the 90s and early 2000s. A little bit harder stuff when screamo and hardcore metalcore was super big. 2000, what would you say, Austin? 2008, 2009,
2009,
2010?
yeah. Those 2009 was like the year for it, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So in my recently played, in the past couple years, I really been getting into lo-fi, that whole that whole SoundCloud wave. I can't help it. It's super down tempo.
You just do you,
I
dude.
love I love it. I can't help it. Tampa Beats, Beside You, Atlas, Sam Cell, those guys. Uh, Listening to that scene for what 4-ish years now, I'd say,
Hmm.
somewhere in and around there. Um, but yeah, going just down my recently played, the lo-fi hip hop's been a lot. My rap playlist, which is anything and everything, probably most recently, Denzel Curry's newest album, Taboo. I've been just playing the crap out of. It's amazing record. Uh, what else we got in here? Milo just dropped a new album. Brockhampton just dropped a new album. Those have been getting a whole lot of plays for me. The rock playlist is still growing all the time. A whole lot of early 2000s punk. Um, let's see. So Green Day, Good Charlotte, the Ataris, that whole side of things. What else do we have in here?
Pretty
The new Head in the
much,
Clouds by.
pretty much the rock
Go on.
genre is covered between for you.
Yeah.
It's just covered in all rock, all aspects of it.
I
Hmm.
don't really go much before like the 80s. A lot of like the 70s rock and metal doesn't necessarily appeal to me.
Hmm.
Going down the list though, a lot of hardcore music. The whole metalcore scene still has a special place in my heart. Asking A, like Moths to Flame, Black Veil Brides, not as much, but still some. Um, I can't help it. I don't really listen to it a whole hell of a lot anymore, but every now and again I'll break out the playlist.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Other than that though, it's just a bunch of random assortment of stuff. Any like jazz influenced EDM music I'm completely done with. A couple like Grizz and Grammatic are super fun to put on every now and again. Other than that, random artists. Let's see, Eden. recently dropped an album, Vertigo. Amazing record. I think that about covers it for me, Austin. How about you?
Well, after that explanation, I don't know how much I can top it. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna top it. I'm gonna top it. Let's see here. On my recently played, I'm just like Jorm. I grew up. Dad grew up in the '80s. He loved rock music. Mom, she grew up in the '80s, loved rock and country music. Of course, growing up on the farm, country's always got a sweet, sweet part of my soul. And I never got into pop.
Ooh.
Yeah, I never got into pop, and I never got into rap. I never got into hip hop, and nothing against them. There's some songs from those genres I actually really enjoy. It's just I don't get into the genre overall. Um, Jorm actually uh, introduced me to heavy metal, like screaming heavy metal, um, which definitely I hated it at first. If you remember, I absolutely hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you guys, I was like, all they're doing is screaming. How stupid is this? I hated it, and I kept replaying A Prophecy by Asking Alexandria over and over and over because even though I hated it, I loved the guitar riffs and I loved the solo, or the solo. I loved the chorus of the song where Danny was singing clean because I thought his cleans were incredible. And then it just started growing on me. And like I said, I work at a radio station. And all that rock that Jordan was talking about, we play. And it's been a part of my life. And it still is a part of my life on the daily because I go into work and we listen to 3 Days Grace, Asking Alexandria. We listen to all that, there. We play it all. Which has opened up doors, which if any of you guys are fans of Asking Alexandria, I'm very thankful to have become friends with their lead singer. Me and Jorm met him at a movie theater for the very first time. And then I saw him in a bar with a girl. And then we saw them at the concert whenever they came to town. And then I'm going to see him October 26th down in Carolina. So that'll be fun. But yeah, your 3 Days Grace. Oh God, Star Set. Like
Mm-hmm.
rock is all over, country everywhere. Country's from old to new, but rock, we got like Star Set, Avenged
Rise
Sevenfold,
Against.
Rise Against, all that, man. Which is really weird. That's what I told you before the podcast. One weird thing, we all went through this phase together in a way, but for some reason lately I have gotten so much back into Hollywood Undead, it's not even funny. And I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. And it's not even their old stuff. Like Undead, Number 5, and Everywhere I Go. I refuse to listen to those because I'm so burnt out of them still. But it's like their newer stuff. And I don't know why. It was like, well, not really their newer stuff. It's like their in the middle stuff. I think that was like their best stuff was in the middle. Their new stuff sucks. Their old stuff is incredible. It's just I'm too sick of it to listen to it. But like Notes from the Underground and American Tragedy, I've been listening to those two albums just over and over and over, and I don't know why. But on my recently
Man, I
played,
can't tell you the last time I listened to Hollywood Undead.
I don't recommend it because you get hooked again. You get hooked again.
I would.
Yeah. On my recently played, I got Hollywood Undead, Asking Alexandria, Sarah Ross. Sarah Ross is, of course, a country music, upcoming country music star. If y'all watch American Idol, you would know who she is. I highly recommend you check her out because she's an incredible artist. Avenged Sevenfold's on here. A industrial metal band called Machina is on here. They're absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Vessels is on here by Starset. Their album Vessels is on here. And then we got Odyssey. The album Odyssey by Home, and that's like that. They had that one song on there that used to be like a part of memes all the time, and it's like that really chill song. I'll have to link it to you later so you understand. And then the very last one I got on here is Eminem, because I went on Spotify to look for his Kill Shot song, Is This Against Machine Gun, and it wasn't on there, but he's on there, I guess, because I searched him. But songs that I have like downloaded, I just recently downloaded, was like one, The Hangman's Body Count by Volbeat. Volbeat's incredible. Disturbed's incredible. 10 Years, Unwritten Law. Hinder, man. Hinder's on my playlist. Oh, God.
Good band.
Oh, good Lord. REM. REM's on my playlist. A new band, Greta Van Fleet, they're on here. And The Offspring, Theory of a Dead Man. And, you know, one thing that I feel like me and you were both being sacrilegious about to ourselves is
Hit me.
neither of us brought up Linkin Park.
I almost said them. I was going through the rock playlist, but
Yeah.
I was going to go on and pass it on to you.
Linkin
But definitely a staple.
Yeah, Linkin Park's been my favorite band since I was 4 years old. Their very first album, Hybrid Theory, was the very first album I ever bought with my own money. And I was 5 years old whenever I bought it. And
Though I hit the Linkin Park wave really, really late.
yeah,
So
you
growing
hit it
up,
late.
almost all of my music I got through my parents, and my parents didn't really listen to them. So my first exposure to them was when Justin, our mutual friend, that introduced us, showed them to me in like my 7th grade year. So this would have been what, 2012.
Yeah.
So Living Things by Linkin Park was just about to drop. Uh,
And
so I arrived really late, but ever since then,
But you
I've
love
been
that album,
listening to
though.
their
And
music.
I love that album. I love
Yeah,
that.
Living Things is still probably
Castle
one
of
of my favorites.
Glass was both of our favorite
hmm
songs off that. But yeah, man, I literally stuck with Linkin Park with every transition they made in music, from heavy new metal to whatever you call this last album they put out. Um, and it's just, now that Chester's gone, it seems like I've sort of fell off, because it's like every time I listen to it, Linkin Park, I want more, and I know there's not gonna
Mm,
be more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I really
yeah,
want more Linkin Park, because Linkin Park, they used to release an album like every 2 to 3 years, and it's getting that time where they would start
yeah.
like doing new music and releasing it, and it's like now I'm just sort of like I don't want to. It's not like a respect thing. It's just I miss it. I miss it. That's pretty
Though
much it.
now you being on a radio channel,
That's right.
is there any band that's coming up right now that kind of scratches that itch in any way,
That
or is
that
or is Linkin Park too unique still at this point?
like, are you saying, is there like a new band that's coming up that I think is gonna grow huge?
No, 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 not necessarily, but kind of scratches that itch of you want new Linkin Park.
Oh, like a band that sort of reminds me of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, well, Mike Shinoda's brand new solo album didn't help. Um, Mike Shin-
That's true, though. I did really enjoy it.
I I did
I
really
still enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot, but that definitely brought on an itch. It really did. I'm trying to think of bands that just not really, man. I will say there's bands that have been blowing my mind recently. Like I got their newest CD in my truck. Breaking Benjamin's new album, Ember, is incredible.
hmm
Absolutely
Really?
phenomenal. I would easily say this is like their second best album. I would put it as high as 2.
Wow. Now the question is, does it sound any different from any of their other music?
This is the heaviest album they've ever had. It
I
is a
might actually have to check it out then.
yes, it is a very heavy album, a very heavy album for Breaking Benjamin. But it is, I would easily put this up there at 2, easily, right behind Dear
Well, you
Agony.
know, yeah.
Dear Agony is always going to be my favorite one from them. There's hands down, without a doubt. Um, 3 Days Grace just released a new album not too long ago. It's incredible. Um, I remember the night that they released that. I remember the night that they released it. It's weird how you can remember certain releases. Um, I remember 3 Days Grace. I can't tell you the date, but I remember laying on my grandma's couch on Spotify, kept refreshing it, and then at midnight it was released on Spotify, and I refreshed it, it was there, and I listened through that whole album, then went to sleep. I remember
Did it
that.
really mean that much to you?
Yes.
Like, were you really that excited for it?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Like, man, I love music, man. I love the music. For Breaking Benjamin, I didn't do that because I didn't have that much high expectations. I listened to that album once on Spotify, went straight to the store, bought that CD, and put it in my truck. I loved it that much. Like, that album blew me away with how amazing it was. I mean, it was absolutely insane how good it was.
Oh, I get it because Breaking Benjamin has that song "Blow Me Away." I get it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Think you're
Um,
funny?
ha ha ha. Asking Alexandria's new album. I enjoyed it. I love it.
Really good. Really
Uh,
good.
I guess the only song that I can say that, even though it didn't really appeal to me much, the chorus appealed to me. Was that Empire song, that rap song?
Oh man, yeah.
It didn't.
That song, Empire.
It didn't appeal to me much, but I will say, Danny. Anytime Danny gets up there and just uses his vocals, it sounds good. Man, I mean, it just sounds
That's
good.
true. I just like we've talked before off podcast. I just really feel like it was a strange pairing that I don't think really worked all that well.
Right, and
Though them experimenting like that, I think is really really neat.
right, and well, just like experimenting, a band that me and you listen to, Bring Me the Horizon, confirmed that they're releasing a song with Post Malone.
That's gonna be hysterical.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's just gonna blow my mind.
Yeah, I seriously cannot wait for that. And uh, another thing, Kill Switch Engaged. I've loved Kill Switch Engaged. Followed them for years. Um, they're releasing a new.
I barely listened to them.
Yeah, they're releasing a new single with their ex lead singer and their new lead singer. Like, apparently they like buried hatchets, and now they're just gonna release a single with both singers on it. And I'm just, all right, that'll do.
That's a little weird,
It
but
is.
okay.
It is a little
Okay.
weird, but I'm just, you know what? They do what they want to do.
I guess so.
I reckon, dude. But overall, I mean, music-wise, man, I mean,
Yeah, I
I
think together we cover almost. I feel like every base. I feel like one thing I'm definitely lacking in is I don't. I feel like I don't listen to enough. Uh, I guess worldly music. Like most of my stuff comes from America,
mhm,
which
yeah,
I would like to try to expand, but I almost. It's kind of hard to figure out where to start. You know?
I didn't realize Volbeat. I'm pretty sure. Let me. I'm gonna type this in before y'all slaughter me. Uh, yeah, Volbeat formed in Copenhagen, Denmark, and that's what I thought was Denmark. But I wanted to make sure. Volbeat is from Denmark,
Did they
and
really?
yes, and they are one of the top
Hmm.
bands ever, or well, rock bands right now. They are huge. Well, Asking A. I mean, look at Asking A. They're in Yorkshire, England when they formed, dude. So
Yeah.
whenever it comes to worldly, like I see what you're saying. But I will say I believe I do believe there's like a fine line between worldly and then just bands that move to the states to just get
Yeah.
famous.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
But whenever it comes to
Well, I
music,
mean,
go ahead, go ahead.
good. Okay, so I think it makes sense in one way where like if your primary English is if your primary English, yeah, that made sense. If your primary language is English, I can kind of see the reasoning. Um, just because of like the culture and how I don't want to say easy it is to blow up, but it's just you get a lot of exposure over here, especially if you're in a scene, if you're in a music scene that's all really big in the States. Um, but I think it is interesting where looking at bands, you don't really realize they're from a specific place in the world until you look them up.
Oh well, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Um, I will say like whenever it comes to worldly music, I had a music class freshman year of college, and we had to listen to all this worldly music from different cultures and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And I now see myself listening to non-vocal piano music sometimes. You know, like from Japan or something like that. And I guess it was.
Yeah,
I guess it's just relaxing in a way too, and I don't know why, but it's just that music. It just got me hooked. I don't know why.
yeah. I'm in the same class this semester, so it is. It's been really fun to, I guess, I don't want to say experience again, but listen to music that you really otherwise wouldn't get exposed to in any way.
Yeah, because I will say it broadened my music. It did. It broadened my musical taste.
I think that's about as much as I'm going to get out of that class,
Oh, that's all you're gonna get.
but I'll definitely take it.
Yeah. I'll ask you off the podcast who your professors are, and or who
Yeah,
your professor is, and we'll discuss that. Which, of course, me and you, we could discuss one professor, probably a whole podcast if we wanted to, and you know who exactly
that's
who
true.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
we can have an entire college podcast. But
That's right.
speaking of off the podcast, I'm pretty sure we've been going on and rambling
We have.
for forever now.
We.
So if you
I,
want,
I'm pretty sure this is a good stopping point to call it podcast number 1, buddy bro.
sounds good to me. If you guys liked it, enjoyed it, feel free to share it with whoever you want, or don't. I mean,
That's right.
I don't expect this to blow anybody's minds,
A
but if it
thousand.
did,
That's that.
if it did,
1,000 subs right now.
1,000 subs immediately
Immediately. We're already passing Ninja right now, man.
on the way.
But no, just as Jorm said, yeah. If y'all want to share it, go ahead, share it. We do appreciate it, honestly. We're just doing this to do it, you know. If we don't grow, we don't grow. If we do, we do. We do appreciate y'all listening to this. And if you have sat here through this rambling for this long, I'll drop my Discord down in the description. I have to drop number 1 to prove my house where I live, I guess. Because Jorm didn't believe me, I guess I gotta drop that down. Even though me and him been really like one of my best friends for what now, like a decade now, and you still didn't know. Which I'm not gonna let that go. I'm really not. Um, I'll drop that down in the description. But what I want y'all to do also, if y'all could take the time, write down below in the comments what you would like to hear us discuss on this podcast. We will have guests on at a certain point. We will start taking guests. We already have one. He's confirmed and locked and loaded and absolutely ready to go. And me and Jorm both know who this is. We're both really, really excited for this one. It's gonna be one of those podcasts where anything goes, man. Anything goes.
Yeah, pretty excited for what we plan to do in the future. Like Austin was saying, definitely comment below and give us not necessarily. Well, let me backtrack that. Give us really anything and everything. If we messed up somewhere specifically, yell at us for it. If you have an idea or what you would like to hear on the podcast,
Yeah.
yell at us. We're open to literally everything.
Yeah, really. And that's what I was literally about to comment on was we are open to everything. Like, if you heard our conversations that we have off this podcast, we can discuss anything, and we mean the dark depths of the interwebs. Everything. We can discuss anything. We have both been in situations. We'll talk about anything, whether it's filtered or unfiltered. It doesn't matter. Just give us topics and we'll go off on them, and we'll just have fun with them. But this one, the reason why this one wasn't, like, I guess too exciting was this is our introduction. It isn't supposed to be exciting. We're not going to jump the gun. But thank you all so much for watching. From me, thank you so much. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll let Jorm carry us out of this one.
Yeah, thanks guys again for listening. Like we said at the very, very beginning, in case you didn't hear it, my name is Jorm. That was Austin, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.